You are now listening to Out of the Blank.
Another podcast with my buddy Josiah Oswald. Is that proper pronunciation, I would say?
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you do professionally? Because I'm always getting these Snapchats of different things from cowboy to bull wrestling to all these weird hobbies that you don't really see every day.
So my paid job right now is I work at Frontier Town. During the summer, I'm one of the cowboy actors. And during the winter, I take care of all the animals. And I'm working on getting into bullfighting as a career.
Okay, so I figured you worked at Frontier Town, not just because of your cowboy hat that you're wearing, but a lot of your Snapchats and stuff, I see you do like the scenes and the shows.
Yeah.
Like, what's the whole, like, what exactly do you do there? Just set up for the plays and...
Yeah. Like, it all depends on the day, but like me and the other guys, we switch out. So like I'll be a bad guy one day, and like we all know all the roles, so we switch. So I could be marshal one day, I could be an announcer, I could be the deputy, and we do 11 different shows throughout the day for all of our guests.
Does that get tasking, or do you just always have fun with it?
A little bit of both. It's stressful when, you're doing the same shows all summer every day with the same guys. It gets boring, and it also, like, there gets tension between everybody.
I can sense it. I mean, do you ever have to, like, get into, like, an argument with someone when someone else wants to be the bad guy and someone else wants to be the good guy?
No, it's pretty good. We're pretty good about, like...
Taking turns?
Taking turns, yeah. It's not up to us, like, what we want to do. Our boss kind of schedules it to, on our busy days, he puts the best people in the best roles.
So how did that even get started? Like, did you just decide you wanted to be a cowboy? Like, you just watched a bunch of cowboy flicks and was like, hey.
No. In high school, I used to juggle all the time. And I was juggling with Tyler Van Sice at a talent show. And our boss was there at the time with his son doing the same talent show. And we got a call, I want to say a month or so later. And he was like, hey, I saw what you do at the talent show. It's pretty cool. I want you to come juggle guns. It's like, check out Frontier Town. And so that's where it started in 2014.
And you just kept with it.
Yep.
It's a fun job. I mean, you look like you have fun when you're shooting those things. I mean,
I have a blast.
How hard? Yeah, you literally have a blast. You shoot people with
yes.
fake pistols and stuff.
Yeah.
That is ridiculous. You guys wear the vests and everything that explode kind of too?
No.
Or is
no,
it just you just kind of have a lot of smoke in the guns?
Some of the guns we use, they do have a lot of smoke. Some of the guns we use are like replica blank guns, and some of the ones we use are like real 45 caliber guns we just shoot blanks out of.
Now, with that, I believe you're so like really attracted to that job just because of the fact that it brings a lot of people joy, and I feel like that's always kind of how you've been. At least from what I've known from you in high school, just always kind of wanting to make someone smile and do like crazy stuff. I mean, you're the kid I remember as riding a unicycle in the hallway, and like everyone, like you're letting everybody try it. Like you weren't just being like, oh, I can do this and you can't. You were like, I'll teach you and all this stuff. Like being so open. And that's definitely something. And you obviously, have you had any like childhood influence from your parents? Like, were they kind of good to you in that manner? Because you seem like you're pretty like set in life right now. Like you got all your plans kind of laid out compared to most kids our age.
I'm trying to get them laid out. No, yeah, my parents were a pretty good influence. My whole family's music. Everybody's gone to school for music, and it's always been like.
You kind of felt a little bit different?
Not different, but like I was always at a concert or my parents were playing somewhere.
That's
like
how my whole family's music background too. Yeah. My parents do radio and stuff like that. So everyone here plays instruments. I don't know if you've noticed it.
Yeah, that's
well, everyone here is musically talented except me. I can like if you tell me what to do, I can play it. But I never got the will to pick up just the creative aspect of music in general. Just because music is like. I don't find it to be difficult. I just find it to be tasking. It's not something I enjoy really doing. I'm more like I like talking, obviously, but like, I was always afraid because in high school being called annoying so much, I was afraid to use my voice for anything.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally, when I became able to, like, kind of come out of my shell a little bit after, like, basically the past couple of months is really when it kicked off. I just decided to, start interviewing, like, friends. Because, I mean, I have all these people that I've met in my life, and they all have really good, interesting stories. And yours was one I wanted to get the most because I was like, this kid does so much stuff, and I literally have no idea what he does for a living.
Right.
So when it comes to being a rodeo or bullfighter, is that what you're...
Bullfighter.
Okay, is that just riding the bulls, or is that just fighting them, like you fist fight?
The bullfighter, there's two different styles. What I'm working on is the cowboy protection. So how, like at a rodeo, you see the rodeo clowns that if a bull rider comes off, they're the ones trying to get the bull away. And so that's what I'm working towards, which is, I mean, it's dangerous because you're in there to take the hit before the rider does. And like I was fighting last night, and one of the riders took a horn straight to the face.
Damn.
And I mean, it happened. I took 2 steps and it happened, and we couldn't.
Is he all right?
Yeah, he was fine. He was wearing a
protective
hockey mask.
Yeah.
And it just like caved the mask in. So. Yeah.
So, all right, I just found this out from one of the trainers at my gym. She told me to ask you this.
Okay.
Do you guys tie the bulls' nuts together?
No.
So that's what makes them freak out? Because they used to do that.
They used to.
You solder or iron the balls or something to get them pissed off?
No. Nowadays, bulls are strictly bred for bucking. Like they're fine in a pen. Like you can go up and pet them. They're not mean. But as soon as they get in the chute, like they know their job. Now you see the rope around what's called their flank.
Yeah.
And it's tightened up. It's not touching their balls or anything. But it's pretty much for their safety to where they can't stretch out so far to pull a muscle or break anything.
Oh, so that's pretty smart. Well, you guys are very caring towards your animals. Yeah. I mean, I don't see you as a guy that would be the one to spit on an animal. You're definitely the first one that would go out of his way to, if you saw a dog on the road, to go pick it up and put it in your car.
Yeah.
On the other hand, if you saw a spider, you'd probably be the guy to step on that spider.
I would not
want. I don't like spiders either. Set the house on fire on that one.
Yep.
But that's cool, man. What's that? Where does that passion come from? I mean, being from a music background, so no one in your family has any connection to the rodeo lifestyle. So you're the only one.
I'm the only one. Yep.
Now, do you just like that because you're a little bit different than everybody?
I like it because the cowboy protection, like you're trying to help. Like you're there. I'm not doing it. You can make a lot of money doing it. I'm not trying to do it for the money. I'm trying to, like, it's a passion, I guess. But I got it from my boss. He was one of the best trick riders in the world for specialty acts. He's been to the National Finals Rodeo in Vegas, and he's taught me a lot about, like, the rodeo and different stuff. And I kind of got it from him, like him showing me videos of his buddies doing stuff, and I was like, I want to do that.
Yeah. I mean, my influence for this podcast and stuff in general is coming from Joe Rogan. Just watching him, like, his 3-hour podcast. I watched the whole thing. I've seen all 1,000 something that he made.
Yeah.
And, just hearing the conversations, I was like, I'm getting these weird conversations with people that I meet in everyday life that I was always afraid to talk to or open my mouth, being afraid to be called annoying or something. And I'm getting such a great stories, like hearing some people that have died come back to life, and some people that have, like, even though some of it's a little bit far-fetched to me, but there's a kid our age who is into conspiracy theories. I talk about him so much, everyone's probably waiting for it to come out. But he got me convinced about Bigfoot and all these stuff. I'm like, it's not that I believe that it's real, but I'd like to believe it is. Like, right. I would like to know that there's that thing out there.
Yeah.
But that's cool. I mean, so you say cowboy protection is really just protecting the bull or taking the bull off the guy really when he falls off.
Right.
And then you said the other job was...
The other style is freestyle fighting, and there's a whole circuit. It's called Bullfighters Only, or the BFO, and that is strictly like, it's like the X Games for bullfighting. You're in there for a minute with the bull by yourself, trying to control that bull, trying to pretty much like dodge him and not let him touch you. And the first 40 seconds, you can get a total of 50 points, and the bull can get a total of 50 points. How fire he is, how much he wants to get you, and like how much how little you can let him touch you. One of the guys, Chris Furs, he backflips over a bull. Right, he comes right out of the chute, and he backflips him. They Superman him. There's an older guy. He's late 30s, early 40s, that's old for bullfighting. He takes a selfie when the bull comes out and just looks at the phone, and it gets out of the way like right at the last second.
That's insane. All right, so the minute leading up to when you're about to do this, do you get how nervous and how scared are you? Because I know you have to be feeling some type of way.
Since I started, it's like
it's got a little bit better just knowing what's going to happen.
It's gotten better. Last night I was finally like nerve free. The other times, like, my stomach was in knots. Like, I was freaking out just because I hadn't really gotten hit yet, so I didn't know what to expect. And a couple weeks ago, I got hit pretty good, and I was like, it's not that bad. So
really? Yep. It's not that bad?
It's
a 600-pound animal coming at you and hitting you is not bad.
It's not that bad.
Now, is this like... Is this a not that bad where it's like stubbing your toe, or is this a not that bad like I accidentally, broke my arm, but I'm gonna tough it out?
No, my tooth like went straight up my lip, like inside. So
immediately, what you say about it being not that bad is after that, no, that's not good at all.
That was actually at a freestyle competition, and we were fighting mini bulls, and so they're 400 or 500 pounds. Little, tiny, but like they want to kill you, and I think those are fun to fight.
How protective are you towards your like crotch in your personal area? Like my face also would be, a priority when it comes to safety. But imagine taking a horn.
Yeah.
Does impaling ever happen really on those things? Like someone gets their arm cut really bad, or someone gets like something broken. Obviously, something broken. The bull can step on you. The bull can stab you. What's the worst, I guess, experience that you've had, you and then somebody that you've witnessed?
The worst experience I've had is really my lip.
That tooth story?
Yeah. He got me like right up by my hip and threw me into the fence, and it was my face hitting the metal pretty much that did it.
So not even the bull.
No. So I was in the air. So like he threw me in the air, and he's only maybe 4 feet tall. But they're strong. The worst thing I've seen, a friend of mine, Jake, he took a horn like right up the butt, and
oh my God,
he got thrown good 8 feet in the air.
Do you have to go to the hospital?
No. Most of the bulls that we fight, their horns are tipped, so they're pretty blunt. But
there's no way he was shitting, right?
He was laughing.
He was laughing.
He was laughing about
that
it.
Might let you know a little something about your friend. That's funny though. But I mean, the fact that you guys can laugh it off too, if something happens like that. But you guys always got to be on your toes. Safety's definitely got to be a priority in that position. When it comes to dealing with animal cruelty, people like people say that think this is a cruel type of thing. What do you say to them about that? I don't see it as animal cruelty now, knowing a little bit more about it. I just remember getting random Snapchats from you. Like yesterday, you're sending me random Snapchats of you doing this bullfighting type stuff. I'm like, I have no idea what this guy does. I got to ask him when I have him on my podcast. And then, the way you've explained it, like just towards how the safeties you guys go, and then how you treat the animals, like they're not aggressive, they're not pissed off, they just know what their job is.
Right.
I mean, that definitely makes it a little bit more easier to watch now. Like, I definitely would go out to a show if I ever had a chance.
Yeah. I haven't had anybody say anything to me about, like, the mistreatment of them, except for my mom. She was at a show, and the bull was laying down, and to get him up, you either have to let him out and reload him, or you can kind of, like, tap them on their neck or on their side with a spur, or... not hard, but like
just wake them up a little bit.
Yeah, and like these animals, if they're playing with one another, they're running into each other as hard as they can. They're hooking each other. So, what humans do to bulls and horses, it's nothing. I mean,
true. I mean, throughout history, we've kind of torn them up. And if you see what they do in like Mexico City or whatever, the the major like bullfighting stuff is, like with the matadors, they're stabbing them and sitting there torturing them and then acting like it's a show with a red flag and stuff.
Right.
Now, is that a myth? They don't actually go after red, do they?
No. Bulls are colorblind. They're strictly territorial. So if there's anything in their space, they want to get it out.
So it's just for a show aspect.
Yeah.
Now, if you got hit, would you try and make it a little bit dramatic if you felt like you weren't hurt, either to not continue or just to kind of make the crowd a little bit more enticed?
Me personally, no.
Do you know people that would do that?
There's a couple guys that I know that...
Drama queens a little bit.
There was one guy last night who got bucked off, and he just laid there. Like, he didn't hit hard or anything, but he just laid there. Like...
He was probably thinking in his head, like, what the hell am I doing with my life right now?
Yeah, but I mean, with him laying there, like, that's 100 times more dangerous. If he hits the ground, he has to be able to get up and get out.
I'm actually happy that you say that, you don't get as nervous anymore. Like, especially with, he's saying last night was like the first time you really weren't. I'm actually excited for you on that because, a lot of fighters, like UFC fighters, when they're going into the ring, they're always nervous. Yeah. I mean, every single time. And they may not look it because they have to play the part and kind of be tough. But, doesn't show, like, stupidity if you're not nervous. It just shows that you're aware and you're kind of smart of the situation that's about to happen. You're about to realize you're about to step into this ring, basically, with a bull, a literal bull. And anything could happen. That thing could hit you, or stomp on you, break an arm, do something. Yep. And that's just a ridiculous fear. But you have such a passion for it, you're willing to step in that ring and go toe to toe. And I appreciate that too, because I feel like a lot of people nowadays are just want to be safe and want to not take the risk to do anything. And you're like, nah, screw that. I'm definitely taking the risk to go for it.
And that's why I'm doing it. I want to keep people safe. So.
Exactly. Well, at the same time, so you just want to go towards the more aspect of not really riding the animal, but protecting the guy that is riding the animal.
Yeah. I personally have no desire to get on one.
But you did the other night, though. Mm-mm. That wasn't you?
No. No, that video I sent, that was the boy getting hit in the face.
Oh, crap.
Yeah.
That's just insane to me. I can't even wrap my head. Imagine me. Do you think I would be a good rodeo clown type person? I could see being the clown part, maybe juggling with some.
I think you'd be a good rider.
Really?
Yeah.
Is there a specific reason why?
Athletic.
Yeah, but do you have to really be athletic to hold on to a bull?
Yeah, you do.
Like, I feel like, I don't know, I weigh so much that bull would just knock me off in like 2 seconds flat.
No, JB Mooney, who was the world champion last year, he's 6'2", I think, and weighs like 140 pounds. But, I mean, he's just muscle. Because all you're tied in with is your own hand strength.
You just got to hang on for dear life.
Yep.
Now, you probably get dislocated stuff riding those things, too.
Oh, yeah.
Just things getting knocked out of place.
Yep. There was a boy riding at the NFR in December, and he won one of the nights, and he rode with one broken arm and one broken hand.
That's a guy that's passionate about something that he's doing.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to farm animals and this type of thing, because you always send me pictures of like cows and all this, are those for the company that you work for, or is that your own set? Like, you don't have your own farm or anything, do you?
No, I don't have my own farm. Those are all at Frontier Town. Frontier Town itself owns maybe 4 or 5 of the animals we have, and then the rest are owned by my boss.
So, give me the wide variety, if you could list off some of the animals.
We have, I believe, 28 horses.
You don't have to say the number, you can just say the types.
Okay, we got horses, cows, chickens, goats, pigs. That's it. Donkeys. We got donkeys.
Any llamas?
No llamas.
You gotta get a llama, man.
Llamas are hard to maintain. And they spit.
That's the cool part. Is that an alpaca or a llama?
I think they both spit.
I want a goat.
We have goats.
You have goats?
Yeah, we have goats.
Can I buy one?
No. I want one of those feigning goats. I want to get a bunch of. Have you seen those like pygmy feigning goats?
They faint?
Yeah, if you scare them, they'll just fall over for a couple seconds. I want to get some and put them in one of the gunfights. And just when everybody starts shooting, they'll just start falling over.
That's a good idea to pitch to your boss.
I've tried.
You've tried?
I've tried.
He doesn't want to do it?
I don't think the company will let it happen.
There's a goat farm up in Bishopville. I just thought about taking a baby goat one day.
You could do it.
I'm going to take this, and I'll just see you in 9 months or something when he's older.
You could do it.
But the one animal, my buddy's in Germany right now,
mm-hmm.
and he's just down there trying all the beers, and his family's down there, so he's getting all that. And I told him, bring me back a goat horn. He was like, "What are you talking about?" I said, send him a picture of a goat,
mm-hmm.
3 different ones. One's with the crazy horns, one with the long horns, and I said, find a goat, give me its horn. He said, I don't think you can do that. I'm like, all right, go in a store and buy one. You can buy a goat horn in Germany. If you're telling me you can't do that, he's like, you might be getting mixed up with Switzerland or something. I'm like, get me a goat horn. There's no other thing. He's like, I can bring you back a beer. No.
Yeah.
I want this to be difficult for you.
Right.
Or expensive.
Yeah.
No, but I would like a goat that has the giant horns, just because I want something that can ram something. Because then I would just set up a bunch of stuff for it to just start crashing into. I'd put them in my car with a leash, and then if someone parks their car, a little bit over the line, just be like, hey, can you do me a favor, move that car that way?
Right, yeah.
Someone's taking up 2 spots. Not today.
Yeah, just start hitting.
Get him, Billy.
Yep.
That's pretty cool, though. So what's your favorite animal out of all the ones you've ever come in contact with? It doesn't have to be at your work. It doesn't have to be at your job. It can be at a zoo or just a place you've been. Just your all-time favorite animal.
I'd have to say a horse.
Why a horse?
Horses, they're pretty cool. They're always curious and want to see you and see what you're doing. And they're fun to ride too.
The one fact about a horse that I discovered is that I didn't discover it, but I heard it. So it's through the wind. Mm-hmm. But a horse is the only animal that can have a mental connection to you when you're riding it.
Yep.
Apparently, if your mind's cloudy or something, the horse won't ride right.
They can sense it. Yep. If you're scared, we actually have a horse that I've ridden once, and I won't ride again. He knows if you know how to ride or if you don't know how to ride, if you're scared or not. If you don't know how to ride and you're scared, he will take you on a ride.
Is that what he did to you?
Yes, that's what he...
What's the specifics of this story? Because I kind of want to ride this horse now.
It was when I first started riding, and I was kind of getting lessons at work, and they had me riding him, and he's an old trick riding horse, and so for years he's just done the same pattern, and I think he's 27, and I turned the wrong way, and it kind of initiated the pattern in his head, and we just took off. 25,
27.
Yep.
How long do they live? 50 years?
A horse can live about early to mid-30s.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, I rode a horse once when I was really little, and it didn't have a saddle on it.
Mm-hmm.
And after a couple minutes, I had to get off because
sore.
Not just sore. I think I broke something in my tailbone or my ass.
Really?
Yeah, it was not fun. And plus, I'm a little bit afraid of heights, so it's being up that high. My buddy came back from traveling, and he was in Egypt, and he was riding camels and stuff. Mm-hmm. So I was like, that's got to be a whole different experience. I got to have him and you on the same time. You guys to talk about horses and camels. He's like, I've never rode a horse, but I rode a camel. I was like, shit.
Yeah. I've never ridden a camel. That'd be cool, though. I'd ride a camel.
You'd probably ride anything. I mean, that sounds a little wrong, but you probably would any animal. I feel like you would step in a cage with just because the experience of it. Now, what's your least favorite animal? Not talking about spiders. I'm talking about worst animal that you'd be afraid to ever even step in a ring with.
Afraid?
Or just wouldn't want to.
Probably a monkey.
Why a monkey?
They're vicious.
Dude, yeah, they rip people's skirts off.
Yeah.
You know what's weird is that this is an odd fact, the direct portion of their genitalia is pronounced it's promiscuous to the amount of women gorillas that are in the area, or females in the area. So big gorillas have really small crotches, and then primates like monkeys have giant hogs. Because big giant gorillas are less likely to mate just because they're more motherly caring, when other monkeys like chimps and stuff are just freaks.
Yeah.
But that's the first thing to do. There was a video I saw, and it was a guy getting ripped apart by chimps, like monkeys, just ripping them apart, like going after his crotch, everything, just ripping it all off. And it was like, holy crap, like they're vicious. And you realize that's us. Yeah. Basically. Like evolution, there's definitely a giant time span gap, but at the same time, we're also that destructive in so many ways. Yep. That's just freaks me out. But I can see that where it would come down to being afraid to step in with a chimp. Now for me, my favorite animal would have to be a sloth. Okay. Just dealing with it, it's so chill, man. Yeah. And you can have them down here too. It's legal. Really? But it's like $5,000. And I'm like, I'll put it in the Amazon cart, but I'll never check out with it. Right. You know what I mean? Yeah. Maybe if it shows up up at my door the next day. They're really hard to take care of too. Yeah, are they? I mean, they only eat like 2 times every 3 weeks, but you got to wash them all the time because they're so slow they grow moss on them. Wow. Yeah, it's a little ridiculous. I'm like, can't handle that. But imagine in this podcast room, a hammock in the corner, and you got a sloth just sitting over there.
That'd be awesome.
And now my worst fear animal, dude, I would not want to step in either with a bear or a shark. I'm not afraid of the sea, and I love eating anything that comes out of the sea. But I feel like something I can't physically overcome, like a bear, there's no way. Right. And then a shark, I can't see it.
That's true.
Because
they come out of nowhere.
And they drag you down, too. Yeah. Alligators, too, kind of scare me. Anything that really I can't see or can't, like, if I'm going out swinging, you know what I mean? I'm not going to be a sissy about it. Like, but, you know, when little Timmy in Jaws gets eaten, it's a sad moment for me. I had a time where I was binging on Jaws. Like, it was the only thing on AMC. It was like Shark Week or something. Mm-hmm. Dude, that whole week they just played the same 3 Jaws movies over and over again. I would sit there and eat goldfish, and when the shark would come out of the water, I would take pictures with the goldfish, like it's about to get eaten.
That's awesome.
That's stupid stuff I did in high school, man. But that's crazy, dude, because you have the coolest job, I think, out of everybody I know. You know, mostly everyone's like, yeah, I work at this. Like, I work at a hotel, so it's like, really all I'm getting that really benefits my passion is I'm hearing stories from all these different people, like all these housekeepers that I've, you know, talked to and just kind of grown a relationship to. And it's like, they all have these crazy stories, because we sometimes get new ones like every 2 weeks. And then in summertime, we have all these Russians and all these other Romanian kids come down. And next thing you know, I'm getting stories from them. And they're telling me like, they serve free lunch at our work. Mm-hmm. So what the kids do is they grab like 8 plates basically on top of one, like just stacked up. Yeah. They eat as much as they can. And they won't eat until the next day because they'll save money, so they won't have to buy food when they go home. And they work 2 jobs, so they're just constantly saving money. And there's like 12 of them that live in a house, you know, insane stuff like that. Stuff I could never do. Right. Now, are you addicted to the ranching life at all? I have a feeling one day like you're going to get older and you're going to start either your own little bull company or you're going to go out and just be a rancher. I mean, you can't walk into my house with a cowboy hat and then the whole get up and everything and tell me.
I would like to eventually have a ranch with bulls. It's kind of in the past couple months turning into a dream to own like a stock contracting business and haul bulls to rodeos and stuff.
Do you prefer that than being in the live action, or?
Well, with being a stock contractor, a lot of the stock contractors they'll hire their own bullfighters, or some of them will actually fight. Because all you have to do is haul to the performance, and that's your whole job, hauling there and hauling back. You don't have to do anything during the show. And so, if I was a stock contractor, I wouldn't have to pay a fighter. I could just fight my own bulls.
Dang. I did not know. See, you're shedding some light into this job that to me is something like a little kid would say. You know what I mean? Yeah. Not to mock it or anything. I'm not mocking it. It's just, you know, when a kid says, I want to be an astronaut, you don't really see anybody as being an astronaut. Like, they usually end up doing something else. Yeah. But you're like, I'm going to be a bullfighter, and next thing you know, now you're a bullfighter. Right. So it's like, that's ridiculous. And then plus, you got to have a card in your wallet that walks around saying you're a bullfighter, right? You have to have some type of license. I would pull that bad boy out at every single bar I go to and let everyone know, hey, yeah, free shots.
Yeah, I don't have one yet, but I'm working on it.
It's down the road.
It's down the road. I'm going to 2 bullfighting schools, one in March and one in April.
Whoa. They have schools for these?
They do. Yep. One I'm going to is in Georgia. and one is at the same place I was last night, Red Eye Rodeo Company in Annville, Pennsylvania.
Now, are these just classes you're taking, or are they actual set things like semesters and stuff, where you have like one class is on dealing with a bull, like the anatomy of it, and the second class is like how to properly ride, third's like get your gear together. It's like kind of like Boy Scouts a little bit.
It is completely the opposite. They are a 3-day class, and pretty much all they do is buck bulls every day and kind of teach you on the go.
It's always better learning on the job. I mean, I did jet skis basically every single summer for a couple of years and just got kind of sick of it. You think riding on a jet ski is fun. After 2 weeks of doing it, you don't want to do it anymore for the rest of your life, just because you're out in severe weather. I've been out in the freezing cold wearing a wetsuit. I've been out in horrible conditions. And you got to understand, it's a company. They need to make money. They need to do this. They need to do that.
Right.
But at the same time, you also got to focus on keeping people safe, man. I've always been the first one. Like, if someone pulled a gun out at a store, I would always be the one that would at least try my best to save whoever was in the line of fire. I'd risk a bullet for anybody, whether I like you or not. Mm-hmm. I'm just that type of person. Now, when it comes down to the actual point of it happening, I don't know what I would really do. I don't think anybody really does until they've done it.
Right.
But it's just, when it came to jet skiing, there were so many things you had to watch. And I remember I got into a really bad accident, and the next thing I know, I was like, not really. I mean, I was still about it. Like, I still did it for a couple of years after that, but I ended up finding a different way doing the Jetavator and hoverboard, which actually your buddy Tyler Van Sice rode the Jetavator, and I was flying him for like a good hour. He had a great time. He's someone I want to get on the podcast, so if he wants to do it, I'd love to talk to him about it, because that guy's just like you, a man of many talents.
Yeah, he is.
You're the Super Mario, I guess you would say, of the basketball game. If you ever play that, he's the all-around character that says under his name, so I'm like, yeah, that's Josiah for sure, all around. Plus, you kind of looked like Mario at one point through high school. You had the mustache
I had
going.
the mustache.
Yeah. But do you have a cool cowboy nickname? You gotta have one, dude. Can't just be known as Josiah. I mean, that's a good name, but
I don't have one.
You're not
yet.
Pistol Pete?
No.
Handlebar Hank?
Nope, I don't have one yet.
We'll pick one out for you one yet. So where do all these shows happen at?
They happen. Frontier Town has their own. Oh, you're talking about the rodeo shows?
Yeah.
You're talking about the rodeo shows. All right.
Because I know Frontier Town. I know where that's located.
Yeah.
Can't miss the giant horse.
That's true. They happen all over the place. Right now, Jake and I, we're fighting in Airville, Pennsylvania, trying to go up there at least once a week. And that's just kind of a buddy of ours he's been fighting for a while, and he's teaching us how to do it. He's got his own bulls. And last night I was at Red Eye Rodeo Company, and they're in Annville.
So they're all kind of close, not too far away.
Kind of close. Yeah, yesterday was a 4-hour drive.
I mean, that's not too bad compared to where I'm thinking. I'm thinking you're going to like Texas and stuff like that. Because I mean, what do you think of when you think of bulls? Really, to be honest with you, I think we had the circus maybe every once in a while down here, but it's not something you really see that much anymore. This is more like a surfer town where we're from. That's why I'm so like interested in how you even picked that up living on the coast. Like our school was nothing that would even remotely put you into the bullfighting category.
Right.
But you guys send me some tickets to some of these shows, man. I'd love to come out and see you. I'd definitely rock a Josiah t-shirt. But I would think of a better nickname for sure.
Yeah, I definitely got to figure out a nickname.
So is there anything you want to pursue that might be different from this? Or is this just like what you're kind of really just hoping for? Because everyone's got like an inner passion, an inner secret.
This is really kind of what I'm hoping for. I really like working at Frontier Town and doing like the cowboy reenactment, and I've always thought that trying out like working at Medieval Times would be cool. Trying that for like a year or so.
Medieval Times is that like old restaurant type thing where they did the lancing and the shows and stuff, right?
Yep.
You'd like to be a performer, man.
Yeah.
That's what it is. But do you like the more fantasy aspect of performing, not really the like if I was going to say, would you rather be in a play about Shakespeare or would you rather be in a play about like aliens and stuff? You'd probably want to go more towards the classic version, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I would.
I mean, because you just literally, you work at Frontier Town, Cowboys, Wild West, and then you're talking about doing something with, I don't even know, you're being a performer in the arts of the old school craft, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
That's cool though, man, because I have a hidden talent. I always wanted to be like an actor. Really, I wanted to be on stage.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you look at my Netflix, your Netflix is probably like Meat Eater and all these different types of hunting and like bullfighting, like stuff I probably never even heard of. Mine's like stand-up comedy, conspiracy theory. Stand-up comedy, conspiracy theory. Documentary, conspiracy theory. It's like, if someone looked at the times on the watch list on my Netflix, they'd be like, why is he watching documentaries about the ocean at 1 o'clock in the morning, and then 15 minutes later he's watching conspiracy theories? Like, I saw something in the documentary that brought me on to conspiracy theories. I'm just interested in finding out secrets.
Yeah.
And also, I think once I'm like kind of really left high school, I felt like I didn't take my education too seriously, which, I mean, I don't think a lot of kids in society today really take their education as seriously until they get older and they start to realize like that was free knowledge, basically. Right. But now that I'm older, I'm trying to wrap myself around as many as experiences I can gather from multiple people, and also experiences in books. I try, even though it's really hard for me to read, it's easier for me to listen to a podcast of someone talking about history. Mostly if it's like a comedian doing it. I found that if I mix comedy and then like factual stuff together, it really helps me knowledge wise. Okay. Now, being a bullfighter, do you have any influential like knowledge on this actual subject? Like, did you do any studying towards it? Besides, like, getting, you know, what you have to do to stay safe and basically the job description, but the history behind it. Do you know anything that you might be able to shed a little light into?
The history, it's kind of been the same since there's been rodeo since like the 1700s. And Wild Bill Hickok, he started traveling around the country with a group of people, showing people skills, where riding unbroke horses and like getting on steers and stuff. And it kind of all started there, and it's just evolved into the X Games of the Western world.
It's a sport itself. Yeah. Like, it definitely should probably have a category in the Olympics. I would watch that Olympics for sure.
That would be, and it's definitely a dying sport too.
How's it a dying sport? I mean, I don't know too many people that want to be a cowboy rodeo bullfighter, but at the same time, it's still something I feel like is going to be an interest in people wanting to go see. Yeah.
I mean, there's people that will always want to see it, but like the number of riders, right now in the Maryland High School Rodeo Association, in all of Maryland, there's 2 riders in the whole high school category. And it's 5 years ago, I think they had like 30 riders. And so it's gone down with what kids are being brought up and what kids want to do.
And by being brought up, you mean like what's being kind of played on TV, and then how parents are kind of raising their kids to being a little bit more safe and finding a stable job. You don't really see being a rodeo fighter as stable. Like you were talking about earlier, 30 is a little bit older for being a bullfighter. Usually once they get that age, they probably either, if they want to stick with the job line, they probably do something a little bit more on the ends of business-wise, like setting up the meetings and setting up the bullfighting stuff. Because it is a young man's sport. It's like trying to play football. Right. Because, I mean, if you're playing football, you're what? They're going to go for the young, fresh guy, not going for the older guy, even though the older guy's got much experience. But if you're looking for a 300-pound dude that's going to stop another 300-pound dude, you're going to pick someone that's younger, not the older guy. Right. That's a sad thing too, man. Because I mean, it's definitely a passion, but being known that you're going to be limited by your age, and then also how society keeps on changing. I feel like my podcast always talks about this, but like society changes in so many ways, for good and bad. But I feel like when you look at medieval times or a place like that, and you look at like rodeo fighting and horse riding and all these stuff for competitions and circuses, it's like a dying art form. you know?
It is, yeah.
And I'm so just addicted to the passions that people have, like creative, whether it's, you know, a painting, whether it's music, whether it's acting, and whether it's bullfighting. Like, if you have that passion for it, just seeing that I would pay thousands and thousands of dollars just to watch you be able to smile and do something that you want to do. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that just to toot my own horn and act like I'm the best person in the world, but no, it's just, it brings me joy, bringing joy to others a little bit too. Kind of like Santa Claus in a way, except I don't bring a bundle of toys and sneak into your home. I'm more of the fact, like, I'm supporting you 100%, even though, like, we don't talk as much. Mm-hmm. That's something, I mean, it's so hard to keep up with people, especially when you get older. It's hard to have those connections. But I've never felt like, you know, I try to distance myself from anybody. It's just more like, we all got lives now. We're not sleeping over each other's houses anymore. We're all a little bit older, and we're all trying to live our life, basically. We all got stuff going on, whether it's in a relationship, whether it's family, whether we're just trying to make it in this world. And I hope you really make it kind of too with the whole rodeo aspect. And that'd be cool one day. I'm bringing my kids to one of your rodeo shows. Be like, you know, I went to high school with that guy. He actually juggled, and I remember throwing everything he was juggling down the hallway, telling him to go back to the circus. And look where he's at now. But it's cool stuff like that. You know, it's always like weird to hear, like, my dad would be like, I went to high school with that guy, and he's pointing at the TV, and it's a football game. I'm like, that guy, you know, found a passion and went after it. It's better than being 100% good at something that you don't want to do at all. Because I feel like that's with a lot of people. They have a passion that they're not good at, but they love doing it, and you just never pursue it because they're not good at it. And you also got to have a very positive family for you, just going and doing what you want to do. Like, even if your mom's a little bit subjective towards the fact of you being a little rodeo clown and everything like this, but I don't mean to say that in a bad way.
No, and that's true. She's not too happy about it. She said jokingly the other day, I shared a video on Facebook, and it was all the guys in the bullfighters only, and it was all the big hits of 2018. And she texted me and said, I'll pay you to sit in the seats and watch. Like, she's just worried about me getting hurt, but
that's every mother though. That's every parent.
Yeah. They're
always worried about their kid, but I mean, dude, if I was your dad, I'd be like, oh shit, my son's a freaking bullfighter. Like, what does your son do? My son, he is an accountant. Okay, all right. Well, your son sucks. My son's awesome. Yeah, but it's the good knowing that your parents are supporting you, even though they might be subjective towards it, is definitely a good booster when you're trying to pursue something that you want to do. And you know, a lot of people, like, when they go to like war just because they want to fight for their country and everything like that, they step off of it a little bit just because their family's reaction towards them, always being constantly worried about them. They don't like their parents being worried. Your parents are always going to worry about you bullfighting. But knowing that they're in the crowd supporting you and cheering you is the same feeling I probably got when I was playing a soccer game or something and felt my dad there watching me and watching every move, you know, staying off the phone and, you know, supporting me, screaming my name if I had the ball or something. It's something a lot of parents should definitely take more time into. I'm not saying, and, you know, we got work and all that type of stuff too, and we know it now that we're older, it's getting a little bit difficult, but you feel like now that you're getting older, you want to spend more time with your family rather than you did back in the day when you just wanted to go out with your friends and do all these types of things. So, I mean, it's cool. I appreciate that. I mean, luckily I'm doing something that's a passion of mine, but I don't really have to, I don't have to do a whole lot but talk. So it's like, that's where the ADHD really helps me out there. But it's cool because it's not like, I know you were probably thinking this podcast was going to be like an interview of just about you. You can ask me anything you want. You can talk to me about anything you want. We can talk about whatever. We can talk about life in general. I just want, you don't have to worry about the people that are listening. You know, it's not against them or anything, but at the same time, it's like, it's a conversation between me and you, and every conversation I've had has been a random fun interest. So I'm like, you got me like speaking in a southern accent just because you got the whole vibe going. I pictured you walking up to my house, not in a cowboy hat, but with at least a straw hanging out of your mouth.
Right.
Oh, I left it in the car. No.
I may have. No, I'm just kidding.
It's cool, dude. I appreciate what you're doing out there, and you know, bringing joy to people, and I really hope you do stick with it and try and pursue it a little farther.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna try to. I mean, that's the biggest part of Frontier Town that makes it worthwhile is seeing the smile on kids' faces. You know, like you can really impact a kid's day with stuff that we do.
Not just their day, man. You could impact their whole week or month.
Yeah. Yep.
You got to think it's like a random small act of kindness. Like when someone pays it forward at a McDonald's or something, when you're like, I don't have to pay for this. No, the dude in front of you paid for it. Well, I'm going to pay it back. And like I said before, it could stop there or it can keep on going.
Right.
But you know, what's the point of going out in the world and being a dick when you can just be like the nicest person possible? I'm not saying you have to go out of your way to help people, every single person from Food Line, put in groceries in their car, but you know, don't not hold the door open for somebody because you're in a hurry. Take the 2 seconds to hold the door open for an elderly person. And just that small thing makes somebody's day, makes you smile, makes you feel like you can go rob a bank because you just did something good. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
It's kind of my little excuse sometimes not to rob a bank. Unlike you, that
I get to rob one every day during the summer. So.
Yeah, that's the fun type of robbing a bank. You don't have to worry about cops looking for you afterwards.
Right.
You just gotta worry about the sheriff that's gonna shoot you because it's part of the scene.
Yep.
How much? Speaking towards that, have you ever wanted to take that a little bit farther instead of bullfighting? Maybe like throw that, like you could be Six Flags type style.
I've worked at Busch Gardens 1 year for their Hollow Scream festival or whatever you want to call it, and that was pretty cool. I was actually a pirate in the, I don't even remember what it was called, but it was like a pirate maze for their Halloween thing, and that was almost just as fun as working at Frontier Town.
Now, you're obsessed with this fantasy aspect. Is that something? Did your parents read you a lot of bedtime stories that involve pirates and cowboys and?
No. I never thought that I would be doing what I was doing.
You don't have any influence from your family on what you like.
Nope. I didn't even know what Frontier Town was until my first day at work.
That's just strange to me because I always remember my grandfather watching like a Steven Seagal or something where old Western type movie with Clint Eastwood, and then that's where his passion came from because he was always into being a cowboy because that's all they played when he was a kid. Mm-hmm. And then like watching my brother watch Bruce Lee movies all the time, that's his influence with nunchucks and having Bruce Lee posters and Dragon Ball Z stuff all over his house. Like for me, it was like I got the whole grasp of everything, so I'm like interested really in what people are interested in. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, it's weird how people can take up something and make it positive or make it negative.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like two people being put in a situation, whether it's in your situation, you feel like the odd man out. I definitely feel like the odd man out at my family, not just because I feel out of place, but it feels like they're all doing music and all this passionate type stuff, all doing this, but both my parents are in radio, and that's where I think I might have got the little interest of being just more vocal.
Right.
Even though when I'm editing these podcasts, which I stopped doing because it became so tasking, not with the fact of just how long it takes, but with how annoying I started realizing my voice is just to hear to myself. Like I hate hearing my own voice.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, well, you have a great voice. I'm like, no, I don't even like singing in the shower. I don't like doing any of that. Yeah. Even though, like, don't get me wrong, when a nice catchy song comes on, like Uptown Funk by Bruno Mars, when that came on, it was stuck in my head, so I couldn't stop singing it. And I think it was The Walking Dead played some stupid song where they were torturing Norman Reedus. And I forgot what it was called, but it was we're on Easy Street, and it's like over and over again, that same little thing. It's like Barney over and over again. It gets stuck in your head, and you end up singing it in public. People are like, what's wrong with you? Are you having a stroke?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Did you see the episode of The Walking Dead maybe about a month ago where the main guy, is it Rick?
I think so.
Where he was riding a white horse?
Yeah.
That is... You've been to Frontier Town.
Yes.
Do you know the Indian that's there?
Yes.
Johnny? That is his horse.
What?
Yep.
That's crazy, man.
Yep.
So that exact horse is the same one I would see at Frontier Town?
Yes. His name's Cochise.
Cochise?
Cochise.
Is there any hidden meaning behind that?
Cochise was a Indian chief, I believe.
You could probably put two random words together and that could be an Indian's name.
Cochise.
Hubba Bubba.
I'm pretty sure that was in the Ridiculous Six.
Chief Hubba Bubba.
Chief Hubba Bubba.
Good Lord. So you definitely saw Ridiculous 6 because it's a cowboy movie. But
yeah.
See, that type of stuff is like, I enjoy like funny movies like that. I just enjoy a laugh, man. You can't tell me being pissed off is better than having a laugh, dude.
Yeah, I haven't seen nearly as many of like the serious Western movies as I should working at Frontier Town. Like I've seen Tombstone, because we do one of the gunfight at the OK Corral. We do that show.
What about The Magnificent Seven?
I've seen the remake.
The one with the Chris Pratt and all that.
Yes.
Yes, that's a good one.
Other than that, like I've seen Ridiculous 6 and I've seen Blazing Saddles. That's about it.
See, I like I said, stand-up specials and recently documentaries, but the one thing I do got to ask you about your job, going back to it, is the fact that, are you scared a little bit about what society's doing when it's changing? Like how people are going to look at animal cruelty a lot more? Like, I mean, I just interviewed one of my friends who's a vegan, and he doesn't like he did it more as like a moral thing. Like he kind of did it for health reasons, and at the same time he did it for the morality of just animals. Like he realized he was eating so many of them, and then he kind of it's like when you go to a chicken house and see how they're actually killed and stuff. You have a little bit of a subjective attitude towards when it comes to eating them, and it's. I mean, that even though that feeling probably only lasts a couple hours or maybe a week or so, but you know, you end up getting a 6-piece chicken nugget anyway. It's do you fear that there's definitely got to be riots or something that have you ever had anybody protest at your actual shows?
We've never had anybody
like PETA.
No, we've never had anybody protest. We've had a couple complaints about working the horses in the heat, like just using them in general in the heat. It rained for a couple days last year, and one of the horses was standing in a puddle, and the lady was getting upset about it. But
why? That doesn't make any sense. It's the same. My buddy owned Newfoundlands, and they love the cold. They're from Canada.
Yep.
When it snowed down here, this is not a very good area to own a Newfoundland.
Right.
Mostly, I mean, it's nice because the water, but you got to be taking them in the water every day, and you can't really walk them outside when it's 90 or 100 degrees outside without bringing them to the ocean or bringing them to the bay. So it's like it's an ideal spot for Ocean City. But when it comes to, like, we had snow down here, we let the back door open and let him sleep outside because that's what he wanted to do. Not the whole night, but like during the day, he was laying out in the snow and he would not come in. We were trying to get him in the house because he was getting soaked. And he was like, nope. And he just laid there rolling around and just enjoying life, like living out there. Like he literally wanted to sleep out there the whole time. I ended up having to drag him in the house. We had animal control come over, get called on us by our neighbors saying we're doing animal cruelty. And like all these people, whenever you walk them down the street, he's too hot with all that fur. I'm like, it's 30 degrees outside and it's snowing and he's in heaven right now. He's happy to be out of the house. And they're like, you should bring him inside. You shouldn't be walking him right now. I'm like, what am I going to do? Sit him in my 70-degree house and with the AC on? It's not going to help him as much as being out in the snow and enjoying where he's actually from.
Right.
And they're sledding dogs too. So it's like they're meant for water rescue. So they're always like, you're putting your dog in that water? It's like, I don't know what to tell you. He's having the time of his life right now. Yeah. He's only doing that for you. It's like everyone wants to throw their 6 cents without knowing too much about it.
Right.
So now if someone tries to argue with me about, like, I got asked like 20 questions when I was telling people I was going to be interviewing my friend who's a bullfighter. They were like, ask him about this about animal cruelty. Ask him this about animal cruelty. And the way you first explained it to me and just kept on telling me about it, there's no way I would even look at that as animal cruelty anymore. I used to probably see it on the TV as a kid and be like, that's terrible, they're riding animals. Now you kind of put it in the right terms as they're bred for that.
Yeah.
It's the same reason we fatten up cows and do all this stuff just for slaughter, and it's like, they don't know any different. They don't know life outside of it. They're farm raised. They're genetically made to do that, basically, even though that's a sad thing, and I still think that's a little bit like, animal cruelty in a way, but it's not like we went and found a cow and then slaughtered it or tortured it and then did it that way. No, it was bred for that. It was meant for that. Its whole life was that. It's all it knows.
Right.
So it's a little bit different on that side of animal cruelty, which I think definitely has to be explained to people. But it's the same thing like when you're dealing with feminism or something like that. It's also like just like dealing with religion. I was telling my buddy earlier, I was like, it's something you can have all the facts on and everyone's going to have a different side of it. It's that hush hush talk you don't talk about at the dinner table or something like that, because everyone's going to, two people can have the same exact facts and they will still never agree. Right. They can sit there and argue for days and days and they'll just never come down to it, whether God's real or God's not. Everyone's going to have their own side. Everyone's going to have their just desserts, man.
Yeah. Well, once somebody gets an opinion in their head, there's no change in it, really.
Especially with older people. My grandfather is stubborn. He just wants to sit and watch his movies and wait to die. Yeah. I don't know why, and he also enjoys Halloween candy, like way more than any grown man should.
I enjoy Halloween candy.
No, like my grandma doesn't let him eat candy, so he hides it in frying pans because she's kind of bent over, so it's like she can't see the frying pans.
Right.
So he hides them in there.
That's
and then like
smart.
Taped up there. No, it's not smart because I'm trying to cook and next thing I know there's like 30 Reese's cups lined up the inside of the frying pan.
Right.
And I was like, that's why you wake up so early in the morning. You're not brewing coffee. You're just going out and eating candy and going into work, man. Mm. But that's also something too. You can't lose your inner kid, man. So many people grow up and I guarantee you my grandfather has more fun acting like a 12-year-old than he would if he was acting 75. You see all these young kids trying to act. Me sitting right here with a coffee. I'm trying to act like a elegant fellow with the pinky out. I can't even get the pinky. There you go. With the pinky out. And it's like, I'm just doing it. I like the taste of coffee, but at the same time, I'm not going to lose my inner child. There's going to be times I'm going to crack fart jokes when there's going to be an appropriate time to crack fart jokes. And some people are like, you're just immature. Very mature when the time is right. But when it's me and my friends and I want to be silly, I want to be silly.
Exactly.
So I believe everyone really shouldn't lose their inner kid. I believe that everyone should, do what makes them happy, man. Take every step forward that you take should be in the shape of whatever you really want to do in life. Whether it's making the world a better place, whether it's doing something positive just in your life and doing something positive in general. You don't have to always, I'm not saying go out and be the worst possible person, but I'm saying be who you want to be. Be who you would like to be treated to. Stuff that we were raised on that a lot of people lose along the way. Yeah. And for you, I'd have to say your inner thing, chase this dream, man. I would love to go to one of your shows, dude. Seriously, next one you have, let me know. Send me a ticket. I will go. I'll pay for one, dude. I don't care.
Yeah, for sure.
But for sure, I'm going to be repping a Josiah t-shirt. I'm going to think of your new name, like your new cowboy name.
I'm down for ideas. So.
I would call you Wild West Will, but doesn't go. I got to think of something for Josiah.
Yeah.
Slim Jim? No, your name's not Jim.
And I'm not slim.
It could be. Say that. It could be ironic. No, I'm just kidding. Right? No, I'll think of one, dude. Trust me. I'll guarantee you by tonight I'll have one. All right, man. Well, I appreciate you doing the podcast, and hopefully it was an enjoyable experience for you. And actually, what I want to end on that I always forget, and everyone always ends up either going off on a tangent like we did and totally forgetting the question. I've had very few people answer it, but I always ask everyone. Have you ever had a transcendental moment, or it's like an epiphany, a moment, like it could be seeing a sunrise or a sunset. It could be just a moment of clarity where you're like, this is what life's about. Like your week's been rough, but this is the best part about it. Like this makes everything in life come together and makes me want to go on another day.
Definitely. Yeah.
Is there, you're going to have them multiple times in life, obviously, but is there any one specifically that you can think of right now?
Because
I've had so many with nature, so my connection is just like inner peace a little bit when it comes to like, if I'm having a tough time, I like to think of a nice sunset or a nice like hearing the rain and just hearing the trees sway, just a nice calming, nothing going on in the background.
Yeah. Definitely like if I'm having a bad day or having a bad week or so, feeding at Frontier Town, feeding all the animals is definitely like this is what life's about, going around, seeing all the horses. They're all coming up to you. A lot of them they'll lick you or like hit you in the face, trying to like get you to pet them and
kind of cheer you up a little bit too. When a horse nudges you, it's the same feeling you get when your dog jumps in your lap and lays down on top of you.
Right.
It's a good feeling. Definitely warms you up on the inside.
Oh yeah.
That's cool though, because you can connect to those animals. Like if you're having a bad day, that's just something you can just go right. It's right open for you. You can just go right out there and just get cheered up real fast. For me, it's more like I have to go take a drive down to some nature park and try and find Smokey the Bear or Bigfoot. Yeah. I will hunt for Bigfoot.
Yeah, do it.
That'll be my dream.
Yeah.
When I get enough money, I'm just going to go on a wild goose chase.
Sounds like a plan.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate you being on the podcast.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Hopefully have you on again soon.